Hi. Do you have the ability to read people's emotions? Do you identify as an empath, a highly sensitive person, or even an introvert? Do you struggle and get intimidated when people express their powerful emotions and energies like anger, power, or sexuality? Do you find yourself getting small, shrinking, or people-pleasing around these people? Well, then I have some good news for you. You're probably an anger repressor who's identified with more vulnerable emotions and thus empathy. This means that somewhere in childhood you learned that you had to push down anger into your body to stay safe and present to the world as more vulnerable or meek. In the Killer Bee Inquiries, we call this state of anger repression empathy identification, and it's actually a nightmare to live in. So why is it good news, Dan? Because you can reverse it and resolve it. Or do you have the inability to read people's emotions? Do you identify as a strong, tough, or no-nonsense type person, or even an extrovert? Do you struggle and feel angry when people express their vulnerable emotions like hurt and sadness? Do you find yourself getting big, aggressive, or antagonistic around these people? Well, then I have some good news for you too. You're probably a hurt or vulnerable emotions repressor primarily. This means that somewhere in childhood you learned that you had to push down your vulnerability into your body to stay safe and identify with more powerful emotions like anger and aggression, which of course meant that you had to present to the world as a sort of tough survivor. In the Killer Bee Inquiries, we call this state of empathy repression anger identification, and it's a prison. And again, it's good news because you can reverse it and resolve it. So whether you're an anger repressor who's coming out of empathy identification or a hurt repressor who's coming out of anger identification, your suffering will progressively end as you learn to access, feel, and express the emotions that you've always been terrified to access, feel, and express. It's starting to rain. And so whatever those buried emotions are, the Killer Bee Inquiries are the most effective tools that I know of to resolve emotional repression and naturally recover from suffering. Learn more right here.